Hello everyone. How are you guys? So, welcome to Lena's Lifeline. It has been a very long time since I have posted a video. Now, let me explain why. I have been on the most amazing spiritual journey. Not only that, but getting myself together, learning myself, getting deeper in the Word, closer to God, figuring my life out to the point to where I am in a place that I have never been before, and I love it. I completely love it. I feel so confident in myself and everything that I'm doing. I just love where I am in my life, and I wouldn't be here without God. So first and foremost, I want to give thanks to God for everything that I am doing and everything that I am continuing to do. So let's get started on what we're going to talk about today. So today, I am gonna go back into the reason why I didn't post as much the last couple of months, because for one, in my journey of getting closer to God and completely separating myself from any and everybody else, I had to take this journey alone. And my thing was, growing up, I was always afraid to be alone. And so God put me in this position to be alone because I had to learn how to be by myself. And it was my biggest fear. And with it being my biggest fear, I had to learn that I was in fear of failing and in fear of things not working out the way I wanted them to, or things not happening like I wanted them to in my desires instead of how God wanted them to. And so I spent months trying to get that fear out of my heart, trying to get that reassurance to myself, to love myself, that I was beautiful, that I was a great mom, just everything. Like, I had let the spirit of fear hold me down for so long, and it took me separating myself from everybody, including family, to sit down with God and be like, hey, this is what's going on, and I need it to stop, and I need your help to do it. And he sat down with me and said, all right, we doing this, let's do it. So 3-4 months later, I'm back at it, and I am feeling better than ever. And I have now gotten to a point to where I can talk about stuff, and fear is no longer in my heart, and fear is no longer in my brain. And I am so thankful. I'm blessed to be able to be here to speak to you guys about what I've went through, because I know I'm not the only one going through it, and it feels amazing. It really does. So first and foremost, I just want to start off by letting you know what I was going through. So I had to dig deep and figure out why I was acting the way I was acting. I had to ask the probing questions of, how do I stop this? How do I find something else to do? How do I replace this with the Word of God? And I had to do that every day to get my mind correct and get my mind in that in that mindset of, hey, I need to replace this, and replace it with a Word of God automatically off top. So, a couple of days ago, I was listening to a podcast that I got shared with from a really good friend of mine. His name is Jerry Flowers, and the podcast is called I Fear Failure. And when I listened to this podcast, man, God was talking to me, like me. And it just basically was like pinpointing everything that I had felt within the last couple of months, and how, like, it showed me the steps of how I got through it. And it was on point of everything. So I first want to start off by saying that when it comes to fear, not only fear, but fear of failure is worse than fear itself. Like, failure is not defeat, but quitting is. So me feeling like I was gonna fail at this whole YouTube thing, and I didn't think nobody was gonna watch and nobody was gonna hear me. That was worse than, it was just worse than the fear itself. And then I actually quit making videos, and that was basically my defeat. It was like Satan was happy that I stopped, and I'm like, I need to get back to it, but there was always something that got in my way and was like, okay, I'm tired. Oh, I want to watch my favorite show. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, the kids this. No. So I had to stop and sit down and talk to God and think, like, how do I do this? What do I talk about? Like, what can catch people's attention? Like, it's so much. But it just has to reside in us that the greatest risk is to not take one. And so the fact that I didn't take the risk to be able to do this or make a video, that was the risk itself. Like, so it's just, I was afraid, I feared that whatever God had prepared for me, that I wasn't gonna like it. And that was my problem. Instead of, hey God, your will, your way, I switched it around and said, hey God, your will, my way. And that was the wrong thing to do, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I want, what I need. If it's not lined up with God's will, it's not gonna happen. And that was my main thing, was I was forcing it, and forcing all of that, all because of the fear that I had, was taking me off the track of what God had for me. And then I got mad because I was like, well, God, you said, nah, like, this ain't what you said, because I made that decision to go off what God said, because I was doing His will but my way instead of His will, His way. And that was my problem. And whoo, it was a part of, I feared God would direct my steps, but not the way that I desired. Like, I didn't desire to do the things that He wanted me to do. I wanted to do them my way. And it just, I put myself in that high chair and said, His way, my will. But I put myself in a high chair to be like, hey, I'm God now because I make decisions. No, that's not how it works. That is not how it works. I was trying to be God by controlling my life, my relationships, my everything that I did, and that allowed me to fail. And so in reality, I caused my own failure because I feared failure. And if you fear it, then it usually comes to you. So, like God said, 2 Timothy 1:7, fear not. Y'all know how it goes. So, back to it. So, within the last couple of weeks, I've basically been telling God, hey, I need you to blow my mind. I have gotten a level of relationship that I've never had with God. Like, I'm up there. Nothing that I do, I don't go throughout the day without praying more than I should. There's never an amount that should be. There's not a limit to how much you pray a day, and I never take advantage of that. I'm like, okay, I feel it. It's time to pray. And I always tell God, blow my mind with whatever you have in store for me, God. Like, literally, because I'm ready for it. And even if I'm not, He's going to prepare me for it. And I am excited. And so, just to say that, it's really, if you go back and you read Proverbs 16:9, a man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and establishes them. So, I plan what I want to happen, and God directs it. and I give it to God. I can't say, hey God, I want you to do this, but I take that step myself instead of letting God take that step for me. And then at the end of the day, I mess up somewhere somehow, and I'm blaming God for it, when it's my fault because I tried to take control. And that's been my problem my whole life. I've always tried to be in control. I've seen control, and I've always tried to be in control of everything I did, and I forced everything instead of knowing that God is in control. And you can't force anything, because if you force it, it's not going to go the way you want it to, because it's not God's will. So with all of that being said, I again want to thank God for allowing me to be able to talk to you guys again and be able to be on this road with you and this journey. And I'm enjoying the journey, because it's the journey that we have to enjoy, not the destination. Like, I'm looking forward to the destination, but I need to enjoy the journey while I'm on it. And I thank you guys for tuning in, and there will definitely be more in store. I will see y'all soon. And thank you for listening to Lena's Lifeline. Just listen.